Hey Neil,
Yeah.
you gonna kick ass today?
Neil.
Let's hope so.
Neil, retain your mags for old time's sake.
Oh God.
What are they weighing? What are they weighing?
How you
Misery.
feel today?
Misery.
Misery.
With arms wide open.
How was the last stage? How was the?
I don't want to talk about it.
No, you want to talk about it?
Oh, there he goes, dude. There it is, baby.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I have a very cool video for you, and I've been waiting for weeks to make this video because it is about the Sons of Liberty Carbine Championship. This is a big match. I shoot it every year. This is the third time I've shot it. Never missed a year that I know of. And man, it's a really difficult match. It's probably my favorite type of video to make are these huge matches that take 2 days to shoot, because there's so many highs and lows and everything. The squad that you're shooting with, you really bond with everyone. You learn a ton from these matches, because these larger matches will bring really high caliber shooters out. So, you know, people that are novice like me, it's really cool to shoot with someone at that level because you learn a lot. Obviously, this match is title sponsored by Sons of Liberty Gunworks, the same title sponsor of Lethal Weapons. Just kind of cool that that's how it works. Highly dedicated to your rights and the 2A community, and they make really good guns. And yeah, cool company. So 12 stages, rifle only, and there are multiple types of divisions. Everything from open division, meaning you can have anything on the gun you want, as many optics as you want, whatever magazines you want, whatever caliber, and any configuration with bipods and tripods, everything. There are absolutely no limits. Then you have TAC ops, which means you can stack optics. You can have a gun with multiple optics, magnifiers, 2 red dots, 1 offset, whatever. You have the big battle rifle division, which is 308. And then you have my most favorite division, limited. All limited is basically saying you can have 1 optic that is non-magnified. So for lack of a better term, it's a red dot division. I haven't really found an awesome way yet, although I'm trying, to really get a good magnified optic or multiple optic, or even like an LPVO setup that I'm comfortable with on an AK. I feel like that fix is coming in the form of rail dust cover, maybe. Right now, I'm not really comfortable with any of those options for a match of this size, so there are tons of great ways to mount red dots to AKs that hold 0, that are perfectly reliable, so limited division it is. We also found another rule, or I guess a loophole in the rules, that said that you could change guns during the match. Meaning, if I had 3 rifles that I wanted to shoot at this match, the rules say as long as they are the same caliber and use basically the same style of optic, non-magnified dot, you can interchange between however many guns you want, but the caliber can't change and the type of optic can't change. So we brought 2 AKs. One, I think, excels at long range. The other, I'm hoping, will excel at all of the up close and personal running and gunning. So the 2 guns that we're shooting at this match are, for long range, we're bringing my Bulgarian kit build. It's a K101. Beautiful gun, beautiful shooting gun, phenomenal freaking shooter. I have been winning left and right with this damn thing. This is a factory 16-inch barrel, 1 7 twist Bulgarian barrel on a Bulgarian milled receiver built 20+ years ago by Gordon Tech. It's a phenomenal gun. And we're using the JMAC MMS rail with the new MMS optic mounting system holding a dot. We've got dope out to 500 yards, so ideally we would use that gun only if there was a long range stage. Everything else is going to be eaten up by my recently modified Zastava M90. John at M13 completely overhauled it with a barrel chop, a combo block. It has more tunable gas. It has a very capable muzzle device by Unrivaled, and a slight furniture change. Other than that, it's basically the same way that you've always seen it, and the full update on that gun is in last week's video, so go check that out. If you have any questions about the M90, I know I'm going to get them, just go watch last week's video, It's like 30 minutes long. It should answer all of your questions. And if you have questions about the K101, there are multiple videos on this channel about that gun too. In my division, there are 30 people. Overall at this match, there were 178 people that showed up, shot, and got a score. I think 200 signed up, but there's always going to be some no-shows. So ideally, when you shoot a match, you're really only trying to shoot against people in your division. So we'll talk about how I did in my division on every stage. We'll also talk about how I did overall. So a few things to keep in mind here. We are shooting AKs, and I'm not making excuses before I show scores because I'm not ashamed of my scores. I think for what we are trying to do on this channel to prove that AKs can stand up against any platform out there, I'm not ashamed of scores at all. Typically, they're a bit lower than the majority of ARs that show up because AKs just do have some deficiencies, but they are absolutely overcomable, if that is a word. Is that a word? You can overcome those deficiencies with practice and training and everything else. An AK can absolutely stand up to anything at all, depending on the hands of the shooter that you put them in. So you're only trying to shoot against the other 29 dudes or girls in your division. So we're going to talk about how I did in my division, only shooting against people that have the same optics as me. It doesn't matter if you're getting destroyed by the open division. You should be getting destroyed by them because they're using tripods, bipods, they're using scopes. They have so much more at their disposal to get better scores. So we'll talk about overall scores, but you have to remember, if you're not familiar with how competition shooting works, you really only need to worry about how you're doing in your division. It's like it's no different than race cars having different classifications. They're only racing against other cars in their class, but maybe they'll talk about their lap times versus everyone that showed up. That's how that works. And if you want to help out this channel, feel free to go buy Third Pin Threads. We got some of these We Buy Junk Guns shirts, which are great to wear to gun shows because it really bothers the people when you walk up to their booth and you go, man, you got a lot of nice stuff here. Smells junk in there. Let's go look at this junk over here.
Man, there's no photography allowed in the building.
Makes everyone a little uncomfortable, which is the best part about it. That's the best way to support us. We don't do paid ads or ball sack razor plans, and we don't do Patreon. That's the best way to support us, and you get something for your cash. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into day one of the Sons of Liberty Carbine Championship. 7 stages of pain. Here we go. Because we are in Squad 10, we are starting on Stage 10. This stage is a straight-up burner stage. So you can see that there's a fault line there. You're going to move left to right, or you can choose to move right to left, but basically you just plow the targets as you see them. This should require a reload unless you have a drum mag that works, which some guys had issues with. Anyways, that's it. You're going to start on the left side. That's what I've chosen to do. On the go, you are going to go from low ready and just plug every single target twice. You can choose to shoot targets once in the A zone. I didn't do that at all this match, so I'm going to shoot all paper twice. Let's go ahead and see how we did. Did you get that at Buc-ee's?
What?
Your hat.
No, I ordered from Amazon,
Oh,
baby.
man. You fly to Texas, you buy your whole outfit at Buc-ee's. That's how you become a Texan. Well, last year you did that.
I did
He
last
did
year. I did
last-
last year
yeah.
in Buc-ee's, in all its glory and the
you
tail
were,
and
you
the.
were Buc-ee last
I
year.
was Buc-ee. I was embracing the beaver.
Perfect.
All right, low ready, shooter. Shooter, understand the course of fire. Shooter ready, stand by. "1972, unload, show clear."
Clean, 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 clean.
Clean.
Clean run, Bevis.
Followed my freaking hammer home.
Nice run, my dude.
Thank you.
Good job, sweetness.
Thanks, baby. As you can see, we start off the match with a freaking hammer follow. If you don't know what hammer follow is, this is something that plagues me with ALG triggers. Every now and again, I'll ride the reset a little too much, causing the hammer to prematurely follow the bolt home, and I get a dead freaking trigger, and I have to rack it. That easily costed me 4 to 5 seconds, but let's go ahead and see how we did. I think if it weren't for that, I think the reload was quick enough, and my shooting was really, the cadence was good, my follow-ups were good, double taps were good. I shot clean, no penalties. So out of 30 shooters in the limited division, we came in 5th out of 30 in limited. Overall, out of 178 shooters, we came in 41st place. Not great overall, but pretty good in our division. Remember, we're only really trying to, score really high in limited. So as far as limited goes, that's not bad. Overall, wish I could have done better. But I don't think we have any more hammer follows the entire weekend. I told myself to stop doing that. That's totally on me causing that problem. So let's move on to long range. Get ready for a dumpster fire. Our first of 2 long range stages is a fixed round count stage. We can only have 10 rounds in a magazine, and we have 8 targets downrange at various distances. The farthest target is going to be a little past 200. If I remember right, it's about 230 yards. I thought this was a very easy stage going into it. Everyone that was shooting before me was just cleaning it, so I was very confident going into it. However, we do have some issues. I also want to apologize. The camera work is very hard to follow. Our camera girl's learning the new camera, so drop an F down in the comments for Rachel. She's doing her best. All right, let's take a look.
Shooter ready. Yes. Stand by. Hit. Hit. Hit.
Oh, don't do that. I need those 2 rounds.
Come on, brother. Stay in the fight. Go.
Did I get anything there? Was that a hit?
You're at 4 hits.
Okay.
Hit. Hit. Hit.
Where was I missing?
Just the left edge.
Left.
285.
Like your elevation was good, you were just literally right off that left edge of it.
Damn, I pulled right a little
Put it
more.
exact
every
same
shot. I had a crazy double feed, and let me talk about that for a second. Number one, don't ever change anything on your gun that's dialed the day before a match. So this gun, this is an odd one. This gun had a recoil rod that did not come with a milled kit. So if you're familiar with milled kits, they come with telescopic recoil rods. This one, in fact. So a buddy of mine gave me a parts kit for a underfolder milled Bulgarian AK, and I noticed that this recoil rod was in there, and I thought, oh, that's cool. My milled Bulgarian AK has always been missing this piece, my K101. It has a twisted wire recoil rod, so this ought to complete it. Shouldn't hurt anything. I did that the day before the match, and this gun started having crazy double feeds. I think the spring is really weak or worn out, something. That's literally the only thing that's changed, because this gun has been freaking flawless for a couple of years since I've had it on the original recoil spring that it came with. Yeah, I totally kicked myself in the nuts on that one. So, unfortunately, I had to fix a double feed, so now I'm flustered, and I have to put those 2 rounds back in the mag because this is a fixed round count stage. I've got 10 rounds, 8 targets, and I've got a few more targets to get, and I need those last 2 rounds, so I got to jam those 2 rounds back in the mag. That's what you're hearing, but you can't see on camera. By the time I got to the last target, which was at about 280 yards, I took my 2 shots that were misses and then finally missed that last one, and that was it. I had a plus 10 for missing that last target, which really hurt me, plus the malfunction. And everyone on my squad was really taking out this stage relatively easy, so it was just terrible. Totally killed my mood being the second stage of the entire match. So, out of about 30 people in Limited, we sucked the big one and got 19th out of Limited. I'm not even going to tell you what I got overall. I'm sure it's really bad. But in Limited, we got 19th. I really was disappointed because I practiced for 2 solid weeks shooting to distance. And this gun was flawless. I had really good dope on it with 55 grain. And then I swapped recoil rods like a bonehead and totally screwed the reliability of this gun. And we're going to see it get even worse as we move on to the 500-yard stage next. We are required to shoot out to 500 yards here. The rifle has to start completely unloaded on a bench. You will then start on the timer by running up 1 flight of stairs, picking up your gun, making it hot, getting in a seated position, and taking all of your shots from resting on a rail. You have a variety of targets from 100 all the way out to 500. There's a pretty strong crosswind. A lot of people were timing out on the stage, so after I just bombed the one before it, which was much easier, not feeling confident, and I'm really hoping the gun is reliable. I'm going to stay with the K101 here. In my mind, I don't know that I've completely ruined it with the recoil rod. I'm thinking it was a fluke, so let's see how we do.
Stand by.
Please forgive the camera work on this stage. She's really trying to zoom down range to give you a better view of the targets. It didn't come out too great, so I apologize.
That was a hit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving to 5.
Moving to 5.
Going back to 4.
Back to 4.
That was brutal. We had more double feeds on mags that we've never had double feeds from. And, you know, other than that, I felt really good on my way out to 300. Those two small targets at 300 ate a lot of people's lunch. From where I'm sitting, that was a very small target at 300. But once we found out where to hold, we got 2 hits back-to-back on 3. There were 3 targets total. 3 small targets on 3. We got them. At 400, the big target was easy. The square target was my doomsday device, man. I just could not hit it. When we moved to 500 yards, the hardest shot, I got it in 1 shot. I then go right back to the square at 400. I think I had time for like 2 shots, and then I timed out. So, bummer, man. And when your gun's malfunctioning, it just really, really makes it hard to get your head back to right where you were. I almost forgot what target I left off at while I was trying to fix this freaking double feed, which you couldn't see because the camera was like freaking out downrange. I get it, but the double feeds were pretty brutal. Out of 30 shooters in my limited division, we got 10th. Not the end of the world. I honestly thought I did a lot worse. It's the first time I've seen this score, but 10th overall in my division. It's definitely not looking good, and I'm getting so frustrated with myself because I knew going into this match, long range was make or break. After last year doing so well with the AK-74 out to distance, I knew if I could just get through the long-range stage, I had full confidence in myself in the jungle runs and everything else because I'd worked VTAC barricades. I'd done a lot of practice. If I could just get through long-range relatively easy, I felt really good about scoring highly this year. At this point, I am not feeling good, but my good buddy Neil Vermillion pats me on the shoulder and he said, listen, at these big major matches, when there's 12 stages, you can totally bomb a couple of them and still do pretty well as long as you do really good on the other stages. So I appreciate those guys giving me some motivation, but man, you talk about just suck the life out of you. Bombing a couple stages early on, knowing that you have to play catch up all weekend long, like you can't go on cruise control, sucks. On this course of fire, we have 3 pieces of steel downrange at 100 yards. We also have 3 VTAC barricades. The left and right VTAC barricade, you have to get 3 hits from each. When you transition, you have to use 3 different holes. So you can't use the same holes that you used on the left when you move to the right barricade. The middle barricade requires you to only use the 3 bottom holes, which are the most difficult because they force you to go prone and your gun's at a pretty awkward angle. Let's see how we do.
Hit! 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 Hit!
That's up!
Hit! Hit!
Woo!
Is there anything on my face?
Yeah, there's some dirt. I mean, do you want the real answer?
Yeah, you got a lot on your face. Dang, babe.
That unravel bracket, you know it works.
Yes, it does.
Can I ask you a question? We all shot the same stage last, right?
Right.
How come I look like this? And everybody else looks brand new.
Bless the VTAC barricade. My home sweet home. I freaking love VTAC barricades. I practice with these things all the time. And I was very excited to see that Stage 1 brought back a stage that they've done a similar stage to this before. And man, I think we did freaking awesome. I felt great. The movement was good. I am perfectly at home with these damn things. In my division, we came in 5th out of about 30 shooters. So that's good, man. That's not bad. I'm literally finishing right behind Aaron Hayes, which is probably the baddest dude out here shooting limited. Could I have gone faster? I think so. What really kicked my ass was the middle target going all the way prone across the 3 holes. One of the holes I didn't quite have my muzzle over far enough. You could hear her yell at me. I was actually nicking the edge of the barricade, totally throwing off my shot. If I would have done a little bit better job keeping muzzle awareness there, I probably could have went hit for hit on the 3 holes on the bottom. Might have saved myself 5 or 6 seconds, which, definitely probably would have been good enough for at least 4th place. But, yeah, not bad. I'm happy about that. If we can keep doing this the rest of the weekend, I think we're going to be okay.
So on this stage, we have 10 rounds only, 8 targets. Shoot the one on the left twice, one on the right twice, clean the plate rack. We've only got 10 rounds. The goal is to do it without reloading. If you reload, it has to be another 10 rounder, and then they take you directly to the next bay. And it's another 10 round stage where I'm probably going to go right-handed, switch to left-handed so I don't have to lean too much. So we'll see. Another thing I practice a lot is the right to left-handed transition, so I'm hoping that comes into play over there. Practice on VTAC barricades definitely shows, and long range, what are you going to do when your gun keeps jamming? But we definitely practice transitioning to left-handed a lot. So we shall see.
And it was a hit, too. Bang. That's what I was trying to do. I mean, I cleared the plate rack doing that. So my big problem is I 0 to 200, and I never verified at 50.
We are now headed to the second string of fire on this one stage. It's kind of interesting. You're given an overall time by basically shooting 2 small stages in one. So the plate rack went okay, had to reload. Now we are heading over to the next bay. Basically what's required here is we have 2 mags. You have to get a few hits from the right hand, 2 paper targets and a steel. You then have to transition to your left hand, hit 2 paper targets, and finish on steel. They're going to add your total time up for both strings to give you an overall time and add your penalties.
Hey!
1074.
After running string 1 and string 2, they combined our scores, and in my division for stage 2, I came in 8th out of 30 in my limited division. Definitely not bad. I feel like I could have gone much faster, and I was not super accurate on the first string of fire. Overall, we came in 29th out of 178. That's not bad overall, but still. At the end of the day, we're doing okay. If we keep up this pace, we can make up for the abysmal long-range runs. Let's put it on cruise control, shoot clean, and try to ramp up the speed. Stage 3 is set up kind of similar to Stage 2. You have 2 completely different strings of fire that they are going to combine your overall raw times and then add penalties to give you 1 score for an overall Stage 3 score. The first string of fire takes you back to a VTAC barricade and a Texas Star downrange at about 75 yards. Every time you put your barrel through one of the holes to take out a plate on the Texas Star, you then have to transition. So the Texas Star is going to start spinning and moving, so you have a moving target downrange while also having to transition to a new hole in the VTAC every time you take out a target. Pretty difficult stage. I love the creativity on this one. Let's see how we do, and then we'll move on to the second string of fire.
Understand the course of fire. Shooter ready. Stand by.
Nice.
Nice.
Woo!
Okay, we are feeling pretty confident after that. So on string 2, there are 2 steel targets downrange at about 75 yards that are spaced out pretty far apart. You can see my mags on the table there. I've got 3 mags with 5 rounds in each mag. This was a limited mag capacity. The rifle is going to start on the table completely unloaded. On the buzzer, you got to pick up the gun, load it, and then get 1 hit on each steel transitioning. So it's left, right, until you get 5 hits on each. So obviously, if you shoot clean, that requires 1 mag reload. I had 3 just in case I pulled a shot. So let's see how we do.
Stand by. Hit! 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 The shooter is done. I'm so clear. Good.
Dude, I wish they had a VTAC on every stage. It's like the only thing I do good at.
The Texas Star at the VTAC, to me, relatively easy stage. A lot of people were going full prone on that last shot. I like using the two lowest holes that are basically just vertical slits before you commit and go full prone. Man, I just have this stance where I really roll this gun 90 degrees and I can get low before I fully commit. So I didn't want to go full prone, and I think we did perfectly fine on that one. Overall, we got 4th in our division, top 5 finally on the next stage. Clean, no penalties. We're freaking good. We need to keep rocking and rolling and getting these good scores as the day goes on. This next stage is probably set up to be one of the fastest stages. A lot of very quick moving, a lot of very fast double taps, and at least 1 reload for most people. The shooter's going to start in a T-shaped shooting area. A lot of paper. There's going to be some steel down range that you have to jam yourself all the way to the left or all the way to the right to get, and then hustle down range, forcing a reload on my run, and then putting your muzzle through this very thin area, taking out stacked targets. There's going to be some white paper to avoid. This was probably the fastest run for a lot of people. The RO said that 24 flat was the fastest that he had seen anyone do it at all. So let's see what an AK can do, knowing that 24 is the absolute fastest. And I have a reload. 24 was ran without reloading. So to me, 24 is unobtainable. But this is my kind of stage, man. I like the up close and personal, really fast-paced stages. Let's see how we do.
Up at eye level. Are you ready? Stand by. Hey! Hey! Show clear. It's clear. Look. Range of safe. That was fast, dude. That was very fast.
I don't know if they did it to me.
What was the fastest time on this stage?
24.
24 was the fastest?
24 is the fastest.
Damn, so if I ran that fucking clean, I would have fucking had the fastest time on the stage?
I don't know about you, but that looked fast. and it felt fast. I don't know what got into this freaking M90, but we shot this thing with a 25.5. The best score overall was 24, and we shot it clean. Our reload, you can't really see the reload. The reload's off camera a little bit, because I told Rachel when I leaned in, I was like, hey, I'm going to run as fast as I can. I need to really start turning it up. I have to start going faster because I've been shooting clean, which tells me I can go faster. If I get a penalty, I get a penalty, whatever. But we are going to pump up the freaking gas. We came in first in our freaking division on this stage. Out of 30 dudes, we beat them all. Over freaking all out of a 178 of the finest AR-15s that money can buy. We came in third. A freaking M90, which retails for like $1,300, with a little bit of pixie dust from M13 Industries and a lot of love from this bad Johnny, came in third place out of 178 shooters. I know that seems braggadocious, but this is an AK doing this. And, dude, I remember when people used to laugh at us back in the day when we would show up to competitions with AKs, would laugh at us. And it only made it feel so much better when we actually started practicing with them and getting better, and then beating those guys with those AKs that were called junk. It just feels good. And we're so much farther ahead in like 2023 than we were way back then, when people very rarely, almost never brought an AK to a match, and now it's very common. Back then, nobody thought they were worth a shit at matches, and now let it be known that they can shred, dude. And this is a Zastava M90. People hate on this gun. And this was the high point for me. This was the freaking high point, man. I'm so proud of that gun. I'm proud of this run. And this run was not relatively difficult. It was just fast. It was extremely fast. This is my style of shooting that I like to do. I like fast, up close and personal. I like really quick forced reloads, and I love VTAC barricades. I was in my element on this one, man. Mwah! Freaking M90 shreds, dude. Final stage of day one and our first jungle run stage. These stages are high movement, high value targets at the very end when your heart rate is at its highest. So basically, on the buzzer, we are going to take out that paper right over there to the left and then shoot the paper as we see it. We are going to have to run quite a distance, taking out paper to our left and to our right. At the very end, there is a fault line where we have to stop within 1 meter of it and take out 2 high value targets at about 70 yards. I have learned to go prone at the end of a stage to take out high value targets. Let's see how we do.
Nice. You didn't time out.
I took Lance's advice. It took me
Yep, sure did.
5 days.
Good job, babe.
What's really funny is you took that 1 yard right on. But here was your gun. Here's the invitation from your mag. 3, 1 more.
He planned that. He definitely planned
He did. He knew. That looked
I
great.
had.
Forgot to
3
press
rounds
record.
What?
Huh?
Did I forget something?
I forgot to press record.
No, you didn't. I had 3 rounds left, so I still had some leeway.
Yeah,
I think I shot that one 3 times.
good job.
They had a very similar stage last year on this same jungle run, and I remember I timed out on this stage with my AK-74 for a couple reasons. I had a hard time hitting steel, and at the very end, they have 2 pieces of steel at like 65 yards when you're totally out of gas and you're shooting offhand, and I couldn't freaking hit them, and I timed out. I remember Mike and Lane of Dissident Arms told me last year, like, hey, on a shot like that, go prone. It's your last 2 shots. You don't have to get back up. Go prone, get your hits. So clearly, after you see what this stage entails, I told myself, freaking go prone at the end of this thing and get those hits. And man, jungle runs, running and gunning, that's my happy place, dude. This is just something I have a lot of practice on. Most matches I shoot are relatively close distances with a lot of movement, so I get a lot of practice doing this. Don't get a lot of practice doing long range, and it shows. In my division, we shot clean, 0 penalties, by the way. We still have no penalties other than our misses at long range. We came in 4th out of almost 30 dudes in our division. We missed 3rd place by a 1/10 of a second. I had a 33.1. 3rd place was a 33 flat. You're talking 1 double tap faster, and we would have had 3rd place overall in our division. We came in 13th out of 178 shooters with a freaking AK. Those are the scores that I like to boast because most people will tell you AKs cannot score this high. You know, this is a ton of ARs that are much lighter. This gun almost weighs 9 pounds, mind you. 9-pound gun, fully loaded, probably weighs like 9 pounds, 3 ounces, around about. And it shreds, dude. It just matters. It comes down to the practice, learning the manipulation of an AK, learning those reloads. Other than that, it's a gun. It's got a 1-7 twist barrel. You learn your holds out to distance. It does what an AR-15 does with the bullet. It does the same thing with the round. You just get used to the weight and how it handles, and get a really good optic mount, man. And AKs will absolutely get it done. All these mistakes I'm making are on me, man. Clearly, though, the K101, that was a part I changed out. Also on me. You know, certain parts work, certain parts don't.
Day 2, Sons of Liberty Carbine Championship. This is Sunday. K101 is still down for the count, so we are going to shoot the M90 for the rest of the day. We have 5 stages today. We're going to start off today on a jungle run. I think what we've noticed after yesterday is, being in Texas, we don't get a lot of long-range practice, even though we really drilled at long range. Those are my 2 weak stages. Everything with a VTAC and all of the jungle runs, I think I've been getting some of the best times. But we practice that all the time. So we have a jungle run, a couple more stages out in the jungle, and then we end today on the hardest stage of the day. It's a spinner at 100, but a little birdie tells me it's worth taking the penalty and skipping it. So because we're trying to do good, we might do that. We'll see how the mood catches us. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with day 2. First stage of day 2 is a jungle run. You're basically running on an elevated path, and you're shooting down at some paper targets, and some more targets are going to pop up kind of hiding behind trees on your left and right. You basically just run down range, shoot targets as you see them, and then you get to a sawhorse, making you shoot your gun at a 90-degree angle at 3 targets at about 75 yards. Not the easiest shots to make, especially after running. So let's see how we do. Goon tape's getting nice and sticky.
Are you ready? Stand by. Ready, set, reset. Time, 3204.
How'd that feel?
Felt good. I hope it's clean. That's the only one I'm worried about.
Oh, don't know.
On this stage, we happen to come in 6th in our division out of almost 30 shooters. Still, we're still riding that high from day 1, man. I think we closed out day 1 way better than we started it, without a doubt. So cool, man. I think that's a great way to start off day 2. At least it's not going to mess my head up, because there's nothing worse than starting the day off with a bad stage. It totally ruins it. So this was not bad. Out of 178 shooters, this freaking AK came in 17th overall. AKs can get it done, man. Absolutely can. On this stage, you are required to shoot the paper as you see it. So you're starting on a fault line. You've got a little bit of paper to your left, a little bit of paper to your right.
Yeah.
You then have to hustle all the way to the end of the range at the second fault line and shoot 2 pieces of steel directly in front of you at 50, turn 90 degrees left, and shoot 2 more pieces of steel at 50 yards to finish the stage. Pretty straightforward. Let's see how we do.
All right. Stand by. 2289.
Time is 2289.
2289. Hit, man. You gotta love a fun RO, dude. It's good. Man, you gotta hey, drop a comment down below for these ROs. These people are getting their steps in. They're chasing hundreds of people up and down these ranges, and they're yelling for 2 days. It's not an easy job to be a range officer at one of these big matches. So in our division, not too bad. We came in 4th out of 30 shooters in our division. Neil Vermillion got us by a few seconds. I honestly don't think I could have caught him. And overall, we came in 7th out of 178 shooters with a freaking AK. Not bad, dude. It is true what they say. It's hard to bring an AK out the distance most of the time. But for this stuff, this is a light snack for an AK, dude. Still doing okay. I'm seeing the end of the tunnel, and there is a little bit of light. It's not totally blacked out, but we still have time to make up from those freaking long range stages. That's how bad they were. All right, moving on. For this course of fire, there's a little bit of paper on the right-hand side of the berm that you can shoot from any area. There are 4 pieces of steel all the way down range that have to be shot from 4 different shooting positions designated by 4 barriers that you can see there on the screen. Each of the 4 targets have to be shot from each position. The caveat is there is a heavy piece of steel that you have to drag from every single shooting position every time you move all the way to the end. Let's see how we do.
Are you ready? Stand by. Hit! Hit!
Come on.
Come on.
What the fuck am I hitting? Moving.
Moving. Hit! Good job. Thank you, sir.
Did not hit that little guy.
Yeah.
8495 with a freaking 10-second penalty. So leaving steel is a much worse penalty than like pulling a shot off paper. Pulling a shot off paper is 2 seconds. To give up on steel is 10 seconds. That's like failing to neutralize 5 pieces of paper. It's a really brutal penalty, and that seems to be the only penalties I'm getting at these matches are steel. So that first shot, again, was at 100 yards, and that little baby target, now that I'm watching the footage, I can see all of my rounds were going high. I don't know. This could have been a little bit farther or a little bit closer than 100, and maybe that's why my rounds weren't totally dead on. I don't know. But if I would have aimed a little bit lower, I would have hit it, but gave up on it. And because of that, I ran out of ammo way sooner than I thought I was going to run out of ammo, which is why AK problems, dead trigger, reload, charge, move on. Everything after that was a cakewalk. And I felt so freaking bad after this stage. I thought I did so bad. But I'm looking at the scores. In limited, we came in 10th out of almost 30 shooters, and that's not terrible. I thought I did a hell of a lot worse. We have one more stage left, and it is, from what we are being told, the hardest stage of the entire match was our last stage, the dreaded spinner. And this year, it's at 100 yards. The course of fire, the shooter will start from a seated position. You will have to take out the array of steel targets you can see there on the screen at 100 yards. These are teeny tiny little baby targets. At that point, you will have to get up, take out an array of targets of paper to your left, and then hustle to the end with your rifle touching the T-post, spin the spinner. Like I said before, 100 yards with a spinner, not easy. I've got a mag full of 77s, and I've told myself, screw everyone, I'm spinning this damn thing. I'm not going to game it. I don't care if it takes me longer than 30 seconds. I came to spin it, I'm going to spin it. Did it last year, I can do it again. Let's see how we do.
Stand by.
No, I put my gun. I use my Ar15's mount.
Oh!
It be like that sometimes. Moving.
Head. Head. Head.
That's exactly what I'm doing. It. In your yeah, my wall was in there.
Head.
Going back.
Yeah, once I hit the little triangle, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. Hit the little triangle.
Head.
Yes. Come on. Come on.
Sorry, what's the starting note?
Come on, Lord. Yes!
Very nice. Range is clear.
You're not watching the target. You're looking.
That was a little over 30 seconds.
88, 91. I can tell you
88,
exactly
91.
what
Sweet. I did not plan those double taps.
That was awesome, though.
I know.
Like, oh, come
It's like, come on.
on. Every time I see a red dot shooter not spin it, I cry.
Yeah, those were all good.
It's like, God, it's so close.
I know. Oh, babe.
Yes, we got the freaking spinner. Did we get it quick enough? No. So they actually timed me, and they said it took you 35 seconds to spin that spinner over, meaning I could have taken the penalty and saved myself between 4 and 5 seconds, but you know what? We spun the damn thing, so pat on the freaking back. Anyway, what really killed us on this stage were those early targets. They're really small targets. You have to shoot them from a seated position, kind of offhand, and I've really learned, this match showed me that my weak skill right now is possibly long range a little bit, but these small targets at around 100 yards really ate my lunch 2 stages in a row, and they were definitely eating my lunch on that stage. If I could have got past those a little bit quicker, would have done all right. Because if you look at the score, I did 88 raw without penalties. Even if I would have gamed the spinner and saved myself 5 seconds, I came in 15th overall in my division, so half the pack, really not good at all, honestly. Even if I would have gamed the spinner, it would have saved me 5 seconds. I still would not have made it to 14th place. There was a 10-second gap between my spot and 14th. The time gaps on this stage are wild in between each other. You're talking 5-6 seconds between people. So the Achilles heel on this one were the little targets at 100. That's what really got me. The spinner was, honestly, after shooting this stage, I went up and told everyone, dude, give me a spinner all day. That was easy compared to those small targets. Did the 77s help me at all? I don't know. But, Ann, did you hear those double taps?
Oh.
And I think those two hit. Sucker went full auto mode on me, brother, a couple times. But sometimes it just be like that with ALGs. We've shot everything. We've had highs, we've had lows. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? You didn't bomb. And what's so cool is this M90 bombed 2 years ago at this exact same match after a lot of work and, of course, me shooting the balls off this thing for a total of 3 years now. I don't even know what the round count is through this gun. It's very high. It had a little surface rust at the end of the day. We had a couple double taps. We had one hammer follow at the first stage of the day on Saturday, but you know what? It was reliable. I would say it was extremely reliable compared to the K101. It ran great, dude. My optic never lost zero, which was my problem 2 years ago. The brake killed all the recoil. That gas block worked perfectly fine on that gas setting. The RS regulate rail stayed tight. The gun stayed solid. I'm so proud of that gun. The M90 has my full-on stamp of approval at this point. Modify it, spend extra money on it, leave it bone stock, I don't care. The M90 has to be the best 223 AK available today for the price. To me, now, I firmly believe that after shooting this match. But what really matters is, how did we do overall? I'm going to take a look at these scores. I'm kind of nervous, and we'll let you know. At the end of the weekend, in our division, out of almost 30 shooters, we came in 6th place out of 30 shooters with an AK. Man, that ain't bad. The difference between 5th place and 6th place was about 5 seconds, so I wasn't super close to getting 5th place. I would have had to make up quite a bit of time. 4 to 5 seconds at, overall the whole weekend, that's quite a bit of time to make up. I want to give a huge shout out to Neil Vermillion for taking 2nd place in the limited division. That was awesome. If I remember right, I think we came in 9th place out of limited last year with my AK-74 out of also 30 shooters. So to me, we've actually done slightly better than last year, even with bombing 2 stages. And if we look at our score overall, 34th out of 178 shooters with an AK, I'll take it. Is that good? I don't know. Is it bad? Definitely not. Because in our division, we came in top 10. Didn't quite make top 5. Next year, I'm coming for top 5. I want to get top 3 next year, but I'm, dude, for bombing a couple stages, what this shows me, there were so many stupid mistakes that just ate time. Changing a part out on the K101, causing double feeds, losing time, pulling that extra shot when I was transitioning those plates on the stage with the 5-round mags. That easily added 4 or 5 seconds. There were so many stupid mistakes that had I not made them, I could have maybe gotten in certainly top 5, maybe even 3rd in my division. It just shows me that I have to work on myself a little bit, not make the bonehead mistakes, stop screwing with a gun the day before a match, get it tuned up the weekend before and don't touch it. Put it in the case and leave it the hell alone. Don't touch anything, don't swap parts. Trust your zero, bring the same ammo that you zeroed with, and just do the damn thing. And next year, I'm not going to bring 2 guns. That's just twice the amount of problems that you could possibly have. Bring another gun that you know is solid as a backup, but I'm not interested in trying to switch guns in between stages again. I'm going to bring 1 gun next time. More guns, more problems, right? But man, what a humbling freaking experience. I'm excited that we did better than last year with a gun that bombed 2 years ago. It's fully redeemed itself, bro. Super sick. And I'm proud of our squad. Suley did great. Neil did great. All the Arizona guys did great. Sweet Dick Diaz. Jose came out and shot really well. I believe he was in the TAC Ops division. And a bunch of AKs showed up this year. I bet you overall, last year there were 2 AKs. The year before that, there was 1, me. Last year there was 2, me and John. This year, I bet you there were between half a dozen and 8 different AKs shooting the match. We need to pump those numbers up. Next year, we need a dozen AKs shooting the match. We need to flood this freaking match and bring more AKs and score high. Neil is doing it for the homies, dude. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Neil is shooting a Rock and Lock 5.56 Gen 1 Galil. Pretty much an AK, in the same but different, but still, Neil is pulling incredible numbers with a non-AR, which is a huge deal in my opinion. One of the biggest points of this whole channel is just proving to the world, like I said earlier, that AKs and AK variants can absolutely get it done when put in the hands of a skilled shooter. Neil's about as skilled as it gets, and he's not some heavily sponsored shooter. He pays for all this stuff on his own. He just dedicates the time that it deserves to be good on the AK platform, and the Galil Ace is an awesome platform, and yes, in my opinion, they are AKs. The Gen 1 is even more so of an AK. Fixed iron sights, Rock and Lock, the whole deal. He did it, man. So props to Neil for doing it again, dude. Phenomenal shooter. But that's it, man. AKs can absolutely get it done. I don't care how many people show up to a match. I don't care how hard you think that match is. Bring an AK. If you think you're good with one, do it. Go out and see how well you stack up against a sea of AR-15s. And that is not taking anything away from all these guys that shot this match with AR-15s. Phenomenal shooters in their own right. Anyone that has the guts to come out to a match in general, regardless of the platform that you are shooting, you are doing what 99% of shooters think they are capable of and think that they do. They don't. 99% of shooters that own guns, that think they're trigger pullers, that talk all the crap online, that think they have all this skill, don't do this kind of thing. And all of you that have taken a chance and have even shot one match, you are the 1% of the shooting community that has the guts to go out and suck in front of people. This is like where the rubber meets the road, man. Competitions are the absolute stopgap between the shooter that you think you are and the shooter that you actually are. This shows you everything. Thank you all for watching this video. Go buy Third Pin Threads, pick up a hat, pick up a t-shirt, subscribe. We'll see you next week for the next video, and we'll see you next year at the Sons of Liberty Carbine Championship. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. Bye. Mwah.